All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, bonsoir, bonjour à tous et bienvenue à cette semaine du Wada Forum. Welcome to this week's Wada Forum, the end of October, nearing the end of the year, you guys, but not quite, not quite. We still have a few more months. Without further ado, let's kick off our agenda for today. So those of you who have been here with us on a regular basis know how we generally structure things here. We'll go through our community updates, and then we've been focusing on a governance corner. But before that, we're very thrilled to have Mercy back with us, and Daniel is also here with us, and both of them were at the live summit event in Dubai. So they're now back and settled, and we're very excited to hear more about it from them. And after that, in our governance corner, we'll be talking a bit more about the WADA DREP and then looking at one of the actual governance actions that's being discussed. And then, of course, those of you who are delegates, we have a space at the end for everyone to talk about how things are going and connect with other people traveling to Argentina. Alors, en gros, aujourd'hui, nous sommes ravis d'avoir parmi nous aujourd'hui Mercy et Daniel qui ont voyagé à Dubaï pour cette année du sommet de Cardano. Ils vont nous donner les ajustements et les réactions de leur séjour là-bas. Hors de ça, nous avons, comme d'habitude, notre coin de gouvernance où nous allons entendre les nouvelles du WADA DREP. Nous allons aussi discuter, s'il y a le temps, une action de gouvernance qui est proposée actuellement. Et enfin, on va réserver, comme d'habitude, l'espace à la fin de cet appel pour ceux qui vont voyager en Argentine pour parler, pour coordonner de vos préparatifs et bon, comment ça avance. All right. We always share updates with you on here, but for those of you who are new and want some more information on what some of these things that we talk about are, are some great resources that we want to point you to just read more and get up to speed. And as always, feel free to bring your questions. If you do go through some of these and something's not quite making sense, you can always bring your questions to the forum. We have a room full of very knowledgeable people in here that can always be available to assist. All right, we've got a couple people here, so I feel like I might call on someone today. Are there any volunteers for either the English or French? Okay, I'm hearing crickets, so I'm going to call on Daniel, if you would be so kind to read our English statement of purpose.
Okay, my pleasure. Statement of purpose. Our mission to elevate underrepresented groups through the application of technology and invest in a more equitable future.
Ok, merci beaucoup. And then parmi nous, il y a qui parle français. Je vois Boaz. Tu peux nous faire l'honneur? Je peux le lire. Notre déclaration de but, notre mission, promouvoir les groupes sous-représentés grâce à l'application de la technologie et investir dans un avenir plus équitable. All right, so this is the part where we get to dive a bit into what we discussed in previous meetings for those of you who weren't here. So I would like to invite Edufwa up to the stage to give us a quick recap.
Hello, everyone. Am I coming through clearly, please?
Very clearly. Welcome, Edufwa.
Okay, so just to highlight a few things on our call last week. The recording of the meeting last week has been uploaded on YouTube. So just in case anyone wants to catch all that we discussed. So last week for Catalyst updates, we had a discussion on some of the things that happened during the proposal and submission stage and a bit after some categories that were in the previous fund. I think the MVP were not in this fund, and then some projects were reassigned due to category restrictions and specifications. These projects that were reassigned, so the proposers of these proposals had to adjust their budgets, and those who failed to revise their budgets were disqualified. So I think basically we said that the complexity of this round made us know that there's a need for better communication and timely adjustment in future rounds, because the moderators did their best, but I think the response wasn't clear, it wasn't fast enough because there was a high volume of proposals. So I think next fund, we will do it better as a community. We also had other updates from Nana Safo. So we said that. So yes, I was saying we had what are the rep updates from Nana Safo. Last week we said that our voting power had grown from 11.79k AIDA to approximately 20k AIDA, which was a good start. And then he also said that there will be an onboarding notice that will be circulated soon. That will be inviting people, members to join the WADA rep team. He also addressed some concerns regarding confidentiality in the delegation process. So for Intersect MBO update, we said last week that from this week and other subsequent forums, we'll have some of our regional leads have presentations on what has happened so far in the Intersect Africa regional hubs. And then last week we had some delegates on. So we discussed preparations for the Argentina convention and some of the challenges they were facing. So we discussed the communication difficulties, traveling difficulties, pre-financing, and a lot more. And then for governance and voting actions, sorry, Megan, I'll be done
That's
soon.
okay. I
So
just
we
hope I
said
remember
we
it all.
were current governance actions that were available for community feedback. I think there were 3 for now. So we're encouraged to explore these proposals on the GAP2's website and then take part in the voting process. We have said that there are informational votes, so they were not necessarily going to change any cardinal parameters. So that was all for last week. Thank you, Megan. Over to you.
OK, merci beaucoup, Edoufoua. Bon, la semaine dernière, nous avons parlé des mises à jour du Catalyst. Ils sont en train d'avoir quelques soucis avec les catégories. Ils sont toujours, bon, ils étaient toujours en train de travailler avec les équipes pour ajourner leurs propositions sur le site, changer de catégorie un peu hors du période de délai, mais je pense que c'est déjà à jour là-bas. Sur Intersect, nous avons discuté un peu les réactions des élections des membres du comité. On a parlé d'un besoin de faire une stratégie pour le prochain vote. Nous avons écouté les ajustements du rep de WADA et on a mentionné qu'il y aura une formulaire qui va circuler bientôt pour vous inviter à participer. Et nous avons aussi parcouru certaines actions de gouvernance qui sont sur la plateforme maintenant. On vous rappelle que ces actions sont sur la catégorie info. Ça veut dire que ils ne sont pas, même quand ils sont techniques, ce sont seulement pour avoir un peu les avis des gens, pas pour changer des paramètres maintenant. Comme c'est sur info, ça ne va rien changer en chaîne. Mais c'est un peu comme une façon de tester le vote, le mécanisme de vote et parler des sujets intéressants et un peu senser les avis des gens. Quoi. Alors voilà un peu de quoi nous avons parlé la semaine dernière. Merci beaucoup. Next slide. So I guess just jumping then into what's new this week, we talked a bit about what we said last week on the Catalyst side, and I'll invite Samuel and Mercy to jump in if you have anything to add that I miss here. But on Catalyst side, we have the Community review period is supposed to be underway. Yesterday at Town Hall, they sort of announced they're having some difficulties with the Idea Scale platform that they're trying to navigate, and that there will probably be an extension period to how long that review process goes on, given that there was a delay in the starting, but that they should be wrapping up their issues with that. Pour Catalyst, normalement, on devrait être en période de review pour Founder 13, mais ils sont en train d'avoir quelques difficultés avec le site IdeaScale. Alors, ils ont signalé qu'ils vont prolonger légèrement aussi le délai pour cette période pour tenir compte des soucis au lancement.
Megan, can I come in?
Yeah, Samuel. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, hello.
Please come in.
Yeah, hello
Welcome.
everyone. Little on the community review. Just a confirmation that the allocations are done. It was done yesterday. So if you registered for that purpose, please log into IdeaScale, check your profile, and you'll see that some allocations have been done. The only issues that have come with this new one is that yesterday I spoke to a couple of guys whose level have been sort of reduced to level 0, meanwhile they were level 1. And maybe these are issues that has to be addressed. But as a matter of fact, the allocations are done as we speak. And I think 3 days have been added to the timeline. So instead of, I think, 7th November, it's now extended to 10th November. Yeah. Thanks.
OK. Bon, Samuel a mentionné que la date limite a été prolongée concrètement au 10 novembre. Alors, c'est ça qu'il a ajouté. Nana Safo, I see your hand is raised. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So I just wanted to add to what Samuel, alluded earlier on regarding the community review. So there's also another challenge, which is that for level 1s, some of them were not allocated proposals to actually, review. And if I say so, I mean to say that some of them were not allocated proposals from the categories that they, preferred, right? So the solution for now is that whatever category that you preferred during the registration, you need to go ahead and then look for proposals in there and then review, right? Instead of reviewing any random proposals. So just go ahead to the category you preferred and then make your reviews over there. And then they are still working to see if they can resolve the issue. If not, they will just take it as it is now. Yeah, thank you.
Now, is that an instruction from the team for people to go ahead and review any
Yes,
proposal?
Yes, that's the solution that has been given so far.
So does that mean you can just review as many as you want? Because there are always a cap for level 1, which is usually
so just target for now. Target 80. You know, they are still working to actually resolve the issue at hand. But for now, the narration is that whatever preferred category that you wanted to, do your reviews in, right? Go ahead and then review proposals in there. But I'm not sure anybody will be able to review up above 80. Within the few days that we have right now. So just just do it, and then once they have the solution, the full solution, they'll probably bring out a communique to inform what there is to be done.
Thank you. That's good information. Thanks.
And then also it has been the extension is up until November 10th. So yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I want to keep an eye on that.
Yeah. Thank you, Nanusa.
OK, bon, pour résumer en français, ça faut à signaler le fait que avec les soucis de plateforme, on vous encourage de commencer dans la catégorie dont vous avez signalé que vous êtes intéressé. Alors, ça veut dire que vous pouvez commencer de faire vos reviews, même si vous n'avez pas les proposals désigné à vous spécifiquement. Et il a aussi mentionné qu'il y a la limite de 80 proposals que vous pouvez examiner. Okay, I hope I got that one. So next, moving into our Singularity Net space, I'm happy to announce I will bring more detail on this as things develop, but there will be a hackathon coming up in Singularity Net. So I wanted to just sort of signal it out here. I was digging through looking for the announcement to get more information. I hope I can bring that some more detail on it next week. But many of you know I'm also involved with the group FOTREC, who's done quite a lot of work on the sort of risk intelligence side of the blockchain space. And so they are going to be hosting a hackathon based on this risk assessment app that FOTREC developed. So I will give some more information as things develop on that, but wanted to kind of mention it here to give a heads up on that. En français, voilà, il y aura un hackathon dans notre avenir sur SingularityNet, un groupe auquel je participe, FOTREC. Ils ont développé une application pour juger les risques, pour analyser les risques, une application. Alors, il y aura un hackathon autour de cette application à l'avenir. Je voulais vous signaler ça maintenant. Je n'ai pas encore plus d'informations sur ça, mais ça va venir, j'espère, la semaine prochaine. All right. Next on our agenda, we are talking about Intersect updates. And last week, we did give some kind of elections feedback and strategy discussion. But Mercy is back with us today. And as a newly elected committee member, I wanted to invite you up to also give feedback on your experience and anything you wanted to say about the elections.
Hey everyone, very happy to be here, and I do want to say a big thank you to everyone here, those that might be listening, for your confidence in me and getting me onto the budget committee. As much as I'm happy about this, I still feel like there's a lot of work to be done. Because when we look at the African community, I think it's just me and Darlington that got on committees. And I know that there was a lot of application from our community. I just want to say that we really need to strategize in terms of, there's another round of voting coming up April 2025. We're going to share a bit more information because I think that what might be good, and we've started discussing this, so it's not just my thinking or my idea, is that Wada might need to do a recommendation list, right? And maybe it would be good for us to share who we might be recommending, give the criteria to be on that recommendation. Because I think it's someone that said it that at some point, it was even difficult when voting because a lot of our community members were sort of competing, sort of in the same category. Although there was opportunity to vote for 2, 3, 4 members. But every time that we have to split our votes, it just doesn't work out. Even if we were to select people only from our community, our network, is still doesn't add up. For instance, that was one of the reasons that I, for instance, just stood for one position because I didn't want my vote to be split, right? Those that support me, for some to put it in, say, the board, and some to put it in, say, budget. So I just decided to choose one. And then whoever supports me can just put it into that. So I think that we'll talk a bit more about that. I don't want to take too much time. But yeah, again, thank you very much, everyone. And yeah, onwards, upwards and onwards. Working groups is a good way to start getting involved. Even like the working group is not a voting. Um, um, you don't have to be voted to join a working group. Please get involved in Intersect Discord, especially those that are members, full members, or even associate members. Get into Discord, join the conversation, make yourself visible, and join a working group. That's what I have done. And I've gotten a bit of visibility. Obviously, some of our other work has pushed me, and as I said, this victory is actually to all of us. I really appreciate everyone. All right, that's all from me for now.
Okay, Mercy. Well, we're very proud of you and we're very happy to have you on there. Appreciate your words of encouragement. I'll just quickly say them again in French for our francophones. Bon, merci à remercier tout le monde pour son vote. Elle est fière de nous représenter au sein de la commission de budget. Mais cependant, il n'y a que 2 Africaines dans les comités. Elle a alors souligné son accord sur ce que nous avons mentionné la fois dernière que c'est important pour la prochaine période de vote de coordonner un peu une stratégie entre nous. Par exemple, peut-être que Wada peut créer notre liste de recommandations pour que le vote soit plus facile à suivre. Elle vous encourage d'autres façons de participer sans être élu. Il y a les working groups, groupes de travail, qui sont un bon moyen de s'impliquer. Il y a aussi le serveur Discord qui est assez actif et vous n'avez pas besoin d'être voté pour participer dans ces forums, seulement qu'on vous encourage d'être membre. Et il y a quand même 3 tiers de membres, alors il y a aussi la version gratuite. Okay, so next we'll be talking a little bit about the Goma Intersect launch. We talked last week, about how we wanted to have a bit more of a view on these different regional hub launches, and we are sort of wrapping up this first phase that we were kind of collaborating WADA and Intersect to launch different hubs throughout Africa. So we wanted to give a bit more light on the Goma Intersect update. We've kind of gone over in the past in terms of, the numbers of people were there and things like that, but thought it would be interesting to give a bit more light on the topic. Do we have pictures for this one?
What do you mean, Megan?
Is the next slide on this topic or no? We didn't do that one. Okay, so I'll just talk about it, I guess. And I hope Boaz is here to jump in. I saw he's sort of in and out, and he mentioned he was not.
Sorry, Megan, I was talking, but didn't know I was on mute. Sorry. There are actually no pictures.
Okay.
To share, yeah.
So, all right. Perhaps we'll get some pictures for next week. But essentially, the thing I wanted to report on this, which I found interesting. So part of the point of these launches throughout the world, and part of what WADA and Intersect were collaborating on with these launches, was getting some feedback on the membership model. So I wanted to kind of share a high-level summary of what our group came up with in terms of, thoughts on this matter. So many of you probably know, but there are 3 tiers of membership for Intersect. There's, of course, the basic level where you don't pay anything, but you can sort of be in the space, look at things, but not voting. And then there's the paid membership, which either you can do as an individual or you can do as an enterprise. The individual membership is at $10 per year, and the enterprise is at $1,000 per year. And that gives access to everyone in your domain. So in the case of WADA, for example, people with a wada.org email address would have access to membership by WADA having the enterprise level membership.
Actually, apparently that is not the case. So, we found out the hard way. But we are working on proposals to see if they can give us a set amount, like maybe 5 members per enterprise. But apparently the enterprise for now is just one, it's sort of one member seat, if I should put it that way.
That's surprising. I've joined Intersect through my WADA account, and it seemed to work.
Accept you? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we can take it offline. So just, I didn't want us to leave this because we were told otherwise. So we will find out and then come back to everyone.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for interrupting me, because I was under the impression that was how it was working.
Same here. Yeah.
Essentially, in terms of our feedback from the Central Africa hub, and Boaz, I see you're on here now, so feel free to jump in if you want to say something different. But people seem to kind of be a bit intimidated by the enterprise level membership, and we had a lot of discussion about whether that from our perspective as members, was probably not a good model. However, the $10 individual membership seemed much more affordable, and most of the people that we talked to found that price was reasonable, with only about a third of the people we talked to saying that it was overpriced or too expensive. So that was kind of our feedback, that it made more sense from our perspective to kind of just encourage individual membership, whether you're part of an organization or not, based on that pricing model. So Boaz, are you with us? Would you like to discuss briefly, même en français si vous voulez, si tu veux résumer un peu des réactions, comme je mentionnais, autour des tiers de membership et les prix associés, notre feedback du Centrafrique.
Bon, mieux parler si j'ai pas. Ok. Bon, j'ai pas été là et un peu avant à cause de ma connexion, mais heureusement, je suis revenu. Bon, je ne sais pas. Ce qui est des mises à jour de Goma Intersect ici chez nous, et que, bon, actuellement, les gens sont beaucoup plus enthousiastes et nous avons déjà plus de 14 membres qui sont membres individuels, et donc les membres fondateurs, c'est là qui ont déjà payé. Autre chose est que bon, la curiosité est en train d'augmenter de volume au fur et à mesure qu'on avance, parce que beaucoup de gens se disent, quand on parle d'Intersect, c'est de la gouvernance dont on parle dans la blockchain Cardano. Alors, les gens sont en train d'adhérer en masse, d'abord au niveau de membership gratuit, mais également, certains sont en train de rejoindre à l'EPA. Même ici à Goma, nous avons eu près de 4 personnes qui ont postulé dans les élections des comités et les dernières élections, où on n'a pas eu même un membre ici localement. Mais au moins, les gens ont tenté et beaucoup ont voté, près de 14, qui s'étaient déjà enregistrés comme membres payants. Autre chose, en ce qui concerne des mises à jour, bon, et je pense que c'est tout.
Une question. peut-être que, est-ce que tu peux confirmer ce que je viens de mentionner en anglais par rapport à notre rapport? C'est de notre réaction des prix d'Intersect. J'ai signalé le fait que bon, on n'a pas vu un grand intérêt au niveau membership des entreprises à cause du prix. Par contre, les 10 dollars proposés pour individu étaient largement acceptés par la communauté comme prix raisonnable, quoi. Est-ce que tu es d'accord avec ce sentiment?
Oui, justement, et surtout qu'on en a débattu ici à Goma, 1000 dollars pour les organisations. Les gens se demandent pourquoi aller jusqu'à ces coûts-là et qu'est-ce qu'on gagne en retour, qu'est-ce qui est rassuré au juste, parce que même si ça pourrait donner une voix, je ne sais pas, si c'est comme ça qu'on devrait l'appeler, les gens se demandaient, est-ce que c'est que cette organisation qui a déjà payé ces 1000 dollars sera bien sûr écoutée, est-ce que son idée ou je ne sais pas quoi, sa participation, sa contribution sera prise en compte de telles questions. On se sont fait entendre déjà certaines de nos rencontres, voilà.
Mhm. OK, merci beaucoup, Boaz. Je vais aussi un peu résumer ce que tu as ajouté en anglais. So, Boaz was mentioning something I don't think I was as clear about, but in terms of, people not being very enticed by the $1,000 price, there was kind of a big question mark about what do they really get in return that's, so much more appealing than an individual membership. And so it didn't feel like there was a compelling enough argument to even be worth the additional price. So that's one thing to add. But he also reports that things are going very well in terms of the Goma Hub, that they have about 14 paid members in their group. And I think he said 4 of them applied to the various committees. And in general, there's sort of a sense of enthusiasm around Intersect that he was reporting on. So that's nice to hear. I think as we continue, we'll hear more about that. All right, let's move right along with our agenda. I think we've dwelled upon this a bit longer than prévu, but let's power through. And we have Mercy with us. Mercy, tell us about the summit.
Yay. I am very happy to have Daniel here as well from Catalyst Africa Town Hall. We went together, and I'm going to power through. I'll try and be brief as possible because I know that our time is fast spent, and then give Daniel a chance to add his thoughts. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so I got some pictures, and I put these up just to capture a little bit. What Megan suggested is that I try to bring everyone into the summit. So that's what I'm trying to do. So the first picture over here is, the view from my hotel room. Dubai is a beautiful city, expensive, posh. It has its own issues in terms of, it's a lot of concrete, right? Lots of tourists, but it's a good place to be. There's a lot of arguments for and against in terms of Cardano Foundation doing this year's summit in Dubai, but the thing is that they got a lot of high-profile people from Dubai itself and from all around the world. So that was amazing. I spoke earlier on about the fact that I got into the budget committee. There was a budget presentation. I was there, sort of going through how the budget could look like, right, in terms of for 2025. It's going to be a very straightforward budget process. It's going to be one big annual budget for the whole of Cardano. So what they are doing at this point is trying to put that budget process through committees. So a lot of the funding will go to committees, and then there will be disbursements as such. As I said, please find out, what's happening in Intersect, whether it's town hall, some of the working groups, and just try and show a presence, right? And contribute. Sometimes we might think that we don't have much to say, but it's just a different perspective, right? Whether it was the SIP 1694 that we did in Accra, or even the Constitutional Committee, the Constitutional Workshop, some of the feedback that's coming from there. Our community tends to have very unique perspectives. So please attend. So next picture is myself with Darlington. Those that I'm sure everybody here knows Darlington from Lido Nation. He was there with Stephanie. Stephanie is also part of the Lido Nation team, and we took this picture because of our African print. I think Daniel was there, but we didn't include him because he was in a suit. Over here, sort of these two pictures is just more the people that we met along the way. Daniel Reba was there, TK was there, we're saying earlier, and there's the Intersect booth. Every time you go to a conference, just always look for the Intersect booth. It's always big. It's always, like when you go to conferences, it's very easy to get lost, right? Because there are so many booths, so many people talking, interacting. And sometimes you might not even, get a place to sit. But for me, the Intersect booth has always been a very welcoming place, because when you get there, you always find somebody that you know. I included this picture with Yoram just to highlight the fact that there was a very high-level gala on the second day. It was really nice. Apparently, it was an island. I didn't quite see the island because we were in a bus and then they took us there. But basically, the reason that myself and Daniel were able to attend that gala, because it was 300 a pop. And if it wasn't that we were speakers, I would likely not have been able to go. But it was good that I went. Personally, I'm sure that Daniel also enjoyed it. We got to talk to a bit more people. I'll end off with the masterclass that myself and Daniel were part of. I moderated, and Daniel was one of the speakers together with the Cardano Foundation and Rare Evo, for those of us that know Rare Evo. So for those of you that are aware, and we'll be bringing more information in terms of the Cardano Summit 2025. Catalyst Africa Town Hall won a proposal to bring the Cardano Summit 2025 to Africa. Yay! So we've been doing a lot of work, both implementing the proposal and also networking with the foundation. So they gave us this opportunity in Dubai to, sort of figure out what the ideas were, because there was a lot of talk within the community based on what the foundation has said that, if the community wants to have a bit more say in future summits, where it will be and so on and so forth, then the community needs to pay for it. Going into the summit 2024, there seemed to be a bit of an issue in terms of why the community should pay for it. But, when we did our master class, there wasn't anything said about that. After that, we spoke to some people, and nobody was bothered about the fact that the future summits maybe could come out of the treasury. What people were bothered about was the fact that they didn't want a loss in quality, because basically what the foundation was suggesting was that we have some kind of a decentralized decentralized summit, whereby one is held in Africa, one is held in North America, Asia, Latam, Europe, and so on and so forth. That didn't sit very well with the community. So there are people, I think, want that big meeting where everybody is able to come and we mix and match. I will pause here before Daniel comes in, because Megan has a question. Go for it, Megan.
Yeah. Thanks, Mercy. I'm particularly interested in this masterclass. So as you were talking, I was wondering, was this feedback from people who were attending in person, or was there also kind of a way to engage people who weren't attending?
So there's been three ways to engage. Going into the summit, there was a lot of Twitter, even spaces and posts and so on and so forth. At the summit, I think this masterclass was one of the biggest attendance, right? So in person, and that was where we had that feedback that we don't care if we pay for it. We are not more concerned about the quality. And even after that, being the summit, you talk to people. I was able to talk to Rick, for instance, and he didn't think that was an issue in terms of the community paying for it. He was more concerned about what do you call it? The quality, right? And there were a lot of other people like that in the community. So that as well. And also after the summit, the foundation actually sent a thank you email, and in there, there was one question about do you want the summit to be decentralized, basically. So those have been the ways. I see that Megan is happy with the answer. So I'll give it over to Daniel. Daniel, go for it. Thanks.
And Megan, I think Madam Messi, I've given the high level overview of what's happening over there. We went to the summit because of our project that we are working on together to bring the summit in Africa. And aside that too, I want to also use this opportunity to encourage everyone that whatever that you are doing, the community is watching and they appreciate you because most of the people that I've met actually mentioned some of the work that is going on under the Wada umbrella. And it seems like they really appreciate it. So if this summit is coming to Africa and people have hope that it's going to be very high and we are going to maintain the quality, then it's because of the individual works that we are doing together and our efforts in promoting Cardano in Africa and the universities all across, right? So let's say I'll give you the high-level overview. Nothing much to add. We had a presentation at one of the master classes. It was well attended. That's one of the master classes that I noticed that the room was fuller because people are actually interested in the summit being decentralized, and most people also raise concerns that we need to address those concerns. If you are here and you have not read our feasibility study on our project to bring the summit to Africa, please kindly do so or get in touch with any of us or visit africaforcardano.org, africaforcardano2025.org. That's the website for the project. You get to know the feasibility study, the 5 countries that we selected, the investigations that we did, and then the criteria that we used to select these countries. You're going to get all those informations as we keep going to other platforms. I know people will be saying or talking about the summit. So if you manage to read the feasibility study, you get the first-hand information, then you know what to say about the summit when you are being approached as a WADA or CAT member. You know what to say and how to go about it. So that's it. We are happy that this summit will come to Africa so that those that have not have any share of how the Cardano events are being organized globally, you can get a feel of it, right? So that's one of our purpose, to bring the summit to closer to us so that we can also get to interact, network, and then also, get partnerships and collaborate with other organizations. It was a nice event, and I wish most of you were there to get like the experience. So if the summit is coming to Africa, that means all of us will have a major role to play. To make it better. Yes, all of us will have a bet. So we'll be looking at our individual strengths, capabilities, and expertise to make this thing very memorable, because how eyes will be on us. We said they ask about the quality, so they'll be, they have a checklist that they'll be checking. But I know and I believe that the team that we have will go to make it very big and very nice and very successful. So that's all that I have to say. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks so much, Daniel. Pour résumer brièvement en français, je voulais surtout signaler certains points à la fin. Bon, en gros, ils ont beaucoup aimé leur expérience là-bas. Mercy et Daniel ont participé. Ils ont facilité un atelier sur le summit certains d'entre vous connaissent que nous avons fait un projet en Fund 11, je crois. Was it Fund 11, our Cardano Summit project, or Fund 11, right?
Yes, Fund 11.
Yeah, there we go. Pour étudier certains pays en Afrique et leur potentiel de host un tel summit en 2025. Alors là-bas, ils ont aussi eu le feedback du communauté que ils aimaient avoir cet grand événement parce qu'il y avait discussion avec Cardano Foundation que, bon, peut-être l'année prochaine, nous allons plutôt faire les événements partout dans le monde, par région. Bon, la communauté là-bas, leur feedback, c'était que on n'a pas trop apprécié ça parce que ça risque de diminuer la qualité de chaque événement. Alors, ils préféraient avoir un grand événement et cela, cela renforce notre besoin de choisir un pays en Afrique et le présenter comme solution, comme où nous allons host le prochain Cardano Summit de 2025. Alors, nous sommes toujours en discussion de comment suivre ce processus de faire la décision. Mais Daniel a encouragé que nous regardons tout le travail qui a été fait sur le terrain pour la recherche. Et quand vous avez des opportunités d'en parler avec des membres de communauté Cardano, que vous avez toute l'information à votre disposition en termes du travail qui a été fait. Et dans les prochains forums, on va certainement parler plus de comment on va faire cet choix ensemble, comment nous allons amener le summit de 2025 en Afrique, où nous allons pouvoir profiter de cette expérience que Mercy et Daniel ont pu avoir là-bas en Dubaï dernièrement. Yeah, I'm really excited about 2025, us all meeting up in person. It seems like our year, right? So we are kind of running out of time, but we do have some more exciting agenda items. So I want to make sure we touch on the WADA DREP. Just for the sake of time, we have just a few minutes left in our scheduled time, and I do want to respect people's time as best we can. So I think for today, we'll keep it to the update on the WADA DREP. And then we had planned to go into a bit of a discussion on one of the governance actions, but I think we can push that to next week, as I don't think the timing of that is urgent. I think it will still be available for vote through November 11th. So Nana Safo, I invite you up to give us some updates on the WADA DREP.
All right, thank you, Megan. And thanks to everyone who have made the chance to be on this particular call. I'm glad to share with you, a very brief update about the WADA DREP in terms of its current status. As promised, each and every week when we are having the WADA Forum, there's going to be a corner for us to provide updates to you, the community who are delegating to us in terms of, how the pool is faring, right? And then if there are governance actions too, and then we are probably taking a decision how we are looking to take a decision and how you can actually be involved in the decision that we will take for whatever governance action that there is. All right, so last week I did announce that we had reached 20.7K voting power delegation so far, and which marks a good 10. But the thing is that for this week, right from last epoch up until now, there's been no delegation yet, so we are still sitting at the 20.7K voting power, and we are probably still waiting for waiting on you to delegate to the pool so that we can see the numbers growing, right? And then also last week we promised that we are going to relay, a notice which would actually allow you, if you are interested in becoming or being a part of the Wada DREP team, to also share your expertise and also, contribute to how we we participate in the governance of the Cardano. Then you can have the chance to actually, register your interest so that you can be part of the Wada DREP team. That is very much in the pipeline. And then this week, I think this evening, we are having a wrap-up discussion on that, so that we'll be able to put forth the notice for individuals who are interested to actually apply, or let me say register their interest to become a part of the Wada DREP team. And the work is very huge. The work is very huge. So we do not anticipate just one or two people, sitting somewhere and then making all the decisions for the entire community, right? Even though we do trust that that is more or less like the purpose of the DREP, but we also do believe that there is more power in including the community than just sitting in your own space and then doing things without actually having the community as part of what you're doing, right? So we believe that once we give the chance to the opportunity, the community to actually become a part of the DREP pool, then of course they have a direct stake in whatever it is that goes on to define the principles and the activities of the Wada DREP pool. So please do keep an eye out for the notice that will be posted soon. And then if you are interested in becoming part of the Wada DREP pool, once the notice is outlaid or relayed, just follow the instructions in there and then let us hear from you so that we can all work together to make the pool a great one. I think that is pretty much all I would say. And like Megan said, there are some governance actions, but unfortunately we have run out of time, so we'll not be able to discuss those governance actions. But of course, going forward, we plan to make time for those ones so that the community can also provide their feedbacks and then also get the chance to also learn about the various governance actions that there is of, so that they feel very much inclusive of the process that there is to be done. So thank you very much. And just to announce once more, our voting stake currently sits at 20.7K. So I encourage you to go ahead and then delegate to the Wada DREP. And in the chat, I have put a text in the chat, a message in the chat, which is more like a call to action. I've also prepared tutorial videos on how you can use your Euro mobile wallet to actually delegate to a DREP, and also how you can use the Eternal mobile wallet to also delegate to a DREP. And when you go on the Wada YouTube channel, you will find all of these videos, and then also you can locate our DREP ID right in the chat, or better so you can locate it on X at the Wada profile. So you search for Wada_org, you can find it over there and then delegate your stake. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Nana Safo. Really looking forward to this space that we have here, the Wada DREP, the general governance corner that we have on our calls today. On our calls going forwards, and talking more in detail about it. We're sort of running out of time for today. So I think at this point, we will thank everyone for being here. Come again next week where we can get a bit more in depth into those governance actions. And now we'll kind of open it up to our space for the Argentina people. If there's anything going on that you need to talk about, we'll have a space after we'll kind of close the call, stop the recording, and then have a space to share. So thank you all so much for being here today. See you again next week.